Hi guys, my name is Christine and I'm a dating, relationship and personal development coach. And today I'm talking about why women lose interest in men. So I'm going to go into why women lose interest in men that they're just dating, who they're not exclusive with yet, and also those women that lose interest in their men as in their boyfriends and their husbands, so men that they're in a relationship with. So one of the reasons why women who are dating men lose interest in the men that they are dating is because it could be that the man, is in fact being too needy and insecure, or over pursuing, or acting more like the woman than the man. So what I mean by that is that sometimes when a man is dating a woman, he gets so highly invested in her, more so than what she is in him, that he starts to act needy and insecure. He's messaging her all the time to see where he stands, to see if she's still interested. He's worried anytime there's a bit of silence between them, and he feels like he has to say something to keep the conversation going because he's so afraid of losing her. And sometimes women lose interest in guys when they do that. Some other reasons as well is that sometimes a woman could be dating a guy, and let's say she recently broke up with someone, and sometimes the ex can come back in the picture, or the ex can start talking to her again. And because she's got more of an emotional investment in the guy she was previously dating, she stops talking to the new guys that she may be dating because she just doesn't have as much emotional investment in them. Because imagine that let's say you're in a relationship with a girl for 5 years, yeah? And you didn't want that breakup to happen, you still have feelings for that girl, and you two split up. And let's say you start dating a new woman, and you've only been out on a couple of dates with her, but your ex-girlfriend comes back into the picture, she starts messaging you again. Of course, most of the time, the majority of guys will go back to the woman that they spent more time with because they have a more emotional investment in her. So sometimes that can happen to women as well that you may be dating. It could be that she hasn't taken enough time to process her breakup. So when the ex comes back into her life, because she has more of an emotional investment in that guy, she's gonna go back. And it may not even be an ex. It could be a guy that she has had a crush on for a long time, or a guy that she has been dating for longer than what you've been dating her. So those are some of the reasons why a woman may lose interest in a man while they're dating. And also, just another quick one is that she may just realize over time that you're not the one for her. That's another reason, because that's the whole point of dating. You're getting to know someone to see if they're a good fit. So she may just think, okay, I've been on a few dates with this guy, it's not really working out, I don't really like him that much in that way, so that's just basically what's happened. She's just lost interest because that kind of thing does happen. And that happens to a lot of guys as well. It's not just something that happens to women. Some guys go on dates with women and they realize, you know what, she's not exactly what I want. And then they let her go and start dating someone else. It's just one of those things. And sometimes that can happen. But it's really difficult, obviously, if you're really into her and then she loses interest. But so you got to let it go, unfortunately. If she's backing away, if she's losing interest, let her go. If you want to try and reattract her, you can do that by backing off, by not messaging her as much. The best way to do that is to look at the way that you two are talking to each other on the phone, like how who's initiating the conversations, who's writing the longer messages, who's sending the more frequent messages. And if that's you, then you have to back off and do less than what she is, or at least be matching and mirroring what she's doing. So let's say she only replies to you every 2 days, then you reply every 2 days or every 3 days. It's just one of those things you got to do if you feel like you are doing everything and she's doing nothing. Okay, so what about those women then who start to lose interest in their husband and their boyfriend? So what about those women? Why do those women do it? So what's the most common thing is that because when you spend a long time with someone, you start to become like the same person. Okay, you start dressing in. She starts dressing in your t-shirts. You both kind of start to look the same because of that. Maybe she cuts her hair short. Because you're spending so much time together, it's very easy for you to mesh and become like the same person. And there's sexual attraction only when there's polarity. So it's very important then that you stay in your masculinity and you don't become too much like your wife. And not only that as well, but sometimes guys lose themselves when they get into a relationship. They stop going to the gym. They stop focusing on their goals as much because they've got the woman they want. So they're no longer trying to impress any women. They're no longer trying to impress women in general because they've already got one, and they're like, okay, cool, I'm set, I'm done for life. I've got this woman, I've got this wife. She's not gonna leave me, although you don't know that for sure, right? I'm just gonna kick back, relax, just watch sports, and I'm just gonna do that. And that kind of thing frustrates women. Women don't really like watching you do nothing. And the reason why is because they can see your potential. Now, of course, it's okay to have a rest and relax. But if you're spending a lot of your time, your free time, watching TV or playing video games, she's going to get a little bit annoyed because she can see your potential. She can see that you could actually be more productive, or you could be working on something else like a hobby or a passion, or you could be helping her around the house. Like, she can see that you could be doing more with your life. And because you're sitting back having a snooze on the sofa and watching TV or playing video games, you're not living up to your full potential. And a good woman, a woman that loves you, that cares about you, is going to see you reach your full potential. Now, like I said, you can have days where you relax. Of course you can. But if it's something that's happening a lot, and you keep on saying how, oh, I'd really like our circumstances to change. I really wish that we was getting more money into the house. I really want to work on this dream. This job that I have is not really my dream. I want to be doing this. But you're not doing anything about it. She's going to get frustrated with you. And this is one of the reasons why a lot of women break up with their husbands, because they just lose their potential and they just become docile, lazy sheep, right? And that's why she loses interest, because she realizes eventually that even though you've got potential, you're not going to live up to it. You've let it go. You've let yourself go. And so she loses interest. Okay, another thing that can happen as well is that you stop dating her and communicating with her effectively. So one of the most important things to know about a relationship is that the way that you got your wife is how you keep your wife. The way you got your girlfriend is how you keep your girlfriend. So you got to think back on what were the things that you did at the beginning of the relationship and try to emulate it throughout your entire life together. And that you may be thinking, oh my God, that's going to require so much effort. And it's like, well, you're willing to do that to begin with, and she's losing interest in you because you was putting on this parade, if you could say, if you will, of and doing all these things for her, and then you stopped. So basically she fell in love with someone who wasn't that person, because this is now the real person who's manifested, the person who isn't doing those things. But you have to put in the effort, and relationships require effort. It shouldn't be effortless in that sense. And obviously your caring for each other is effortless, but to maintain your relationship requires effort. So you take her out. I mean, obviously things come in between. You know, obviously you may not have enough time. So if you started dating as teenagers, then obviously you don't have as much free time on your hands, especially if you've got kids and you've got a mortgage and you've both got jobs and all these different things and all these different responsibilities. Perhaps you've got aging parents who you need to take care of as well. It's like, well, yeah, okay. You don't have as much time, but so you can't do everything. Like, you can't be taking her out every week, perhaps, like you used to when you were younger, or every other day if you had really a lot of free time on your hands. But you still got to try and fit it in. Okay, so you might not be able to do it as frequently, but you should still be trying to do it. Okay, you should still be trying to take her out, basically, and then the whining and dining her, or whatever it may be that you guys used to do. It may not be that you did anything expensive. One of the things that me and my wife did when we first met is we would go on walks together, and we still do that now, even though we've got a kid. We still try and make time to do those kinds of things together. And also walking is a really great thing for a relationship too, especially if you've got kids as well. Like, walking is such a great way to talk and to communicate, and to figure things out, to bounce ideas off of each other. So that's a really cool, inexpensive way to have a date. and it's really cool. I really like it, but it's not for everybody. But you got to but essentially that's what you got to do. You got to think about what were the things that we used to do when we were young and in love, and you try to emulate it, even if you might not be able to do it as much anymore. Another thing that I was talking about as well is communication. If a woman doesn't feel understood and she doesn't feel heard and she doesn't feel like you get her, then she's going to become closed off from you. And women divorce and split up with guys that they feel disconnected to. So she wants to feel a connection with you. And the best way that you can make a connection with your wife or girlfriend better is by communicating and talking to her, getting her to talk about her feelings, getting her to just away, right? Just keep on chatting, right? Because the way that I describe it is, you got to think of a woman's brain like a ball of wire. Okay, and sometimes through stress, through arguments she has with other people, hard days that she has at work, when she gets home, her brain is like, it's really hard to unwire it, right? And she finds it really difficult, and that's why she feels stressed, that's why she's snappy, because her brain is just this massive ball of wire. But when you start talking to her and you're like, hey, how's it going, honey? And she's like, oh, go on, these things happening, and oh, this happened, and I came home and there was dirty dishes in the sink, and you still haven't cleaned out the garage, and all these things happen. And you're like, oh, okay, so so you're upset about this, you're upset about that. You repeat back to her what she said to you. And that's made you feel angry, it's made you feel agitated. And she's like, yeah, it makes me. And the more you get her to talk, and all you're doing is just asking her questions about how she feels, and you're trying to dig, and you're really trying to get to the root of the issue. Basically, the more her brain starts to untangle and unwire. And when it's all done, basically, she'll be more free and she'll feel more relaxed, and she'll be like, oh, I'm really glad that we talked. That feels so much better now. I'm so glad we discussed it and worked things out. I'm so glad that we did this. That's what you got to do to get her to unwind, and then she'll be more receptive to intimacy, to wanting to hug you and kiss you and hold you and want to snuggle up to you. She'll be more receptive to those things, okay, if you can get her to talk. Now, a lot of the time, guys want to be Mr. Fix-It, okay? That's why you see a lot of guys doing things like fixing things around the house, like if the garage needs clearing out, or there's like a burst pipe, or there's some nails that are coming undone in the shed. The guy goes out and he goes and fixes it, right? And that's one of the things that a lot of guys do, and a lot of women like that about their male companions, that they're Mr. Fix-It, okay? But she's not a broken shed, right? She's not the garage that needs to be cleaned out. She's not the broken car, right? She is a woman, she's a person, so she doesn't necessarily want you to come around and fix her, right? What she wants is she just wants to talk. She just wants to talk about what's going on. Now, often you can offer some advice if you feel like that's what she wants. You can ask her, do you want my advice on this? Would you like to have my opinion? And if she does, she'll say, yeah, sure. But most of the time, it's always better to assume that she just wants to talk about it, and just get her to open up and talk about her feelings and what's going on in her head. Okay, now if you encounter a woman who's like, I don't want to talk about it, I don't want to discuss any of this with you, you've got to be like, well, honey, I want to know what's going on in your mind. I want to know what's going on in your heart. And it's really important to me. And you're really important to me. So please tell me what's going on. Please communicate with me. I really love to know what's going on. I know it's going to be tough to talk about these things. I know you don't necessarily want to feel it right now. But one of the best things that you can do is to feel it, to heal it. So please just tell me what's going on. I really, really do genuinely want to know what's up. Okay? And if you think about kids, this is how a lot of people feel it, to heal it, right? Especially children. Children, when they hurt themselves, they let out a massive cry, and then like 10 minutes later, they're just playing as if nothing happened, and they've got like a little plaster on, and they're all done, they're all set, they're all ready to go out into the wild, right? Okay, and a lot of us are like that. We sometimes need to scream, we sometimes need to cry, we need to let it out, and women need this especially, but a lot of the time they do it through talking and communicating. They don't necessarily want to scream into a pillow, although that can sometimes help. So these are the reasons why a lot of women lose interest in men, is that they're not dating them anymore, they're not courting them anymore, they don't know how to talk to her, they don't know how to get her to open up and talk about her feelings. And also the guy is letting things slide and not living up to his full potential, and that frustrates her. That makes her very, very angry, right? She wants you to be the best version of you so she can be the best version of herself for you. And if you're just dating a woman, the reasons why she may be losing interest in you is that she may have just simply lost interest and there's nothing you could have done about it, or you're being too needy and insecure and acting like a little bitch, basically. All right, I say that in the most loving way, but you know, it's one of those things. So those are the reasons why women lose interest in men. So thank you so much for watching. If you like coaching with me and if you'd like to get in touch with me personally, then please go to www.christineloveridge.com, and I shall talk to you again very soon. Goodbye.